By the end of the webinar, you will learn how can you start your journey with AR, as many students find it difficult to take steps and don't have the right guidance for starting and continuing. This webinar will help them know where to start and how to become the best. We are bringing the opportunity for you to get guidance from the experts in the field. They will share their journey and some insightful lessons which will help you succeed in your journey to bend the reality. I'm Tejas Wadbude, and it's an immense pleasure of mine to be a today's host. You may know me as the ARMR guy on LinkedIn. I'm the country head of the ARMR Student Partner Program and a Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador. I wake up every day to help people become the best version of themselves so that they can make better decisions in their lives and we can together make a better world. So now let's talk about AR. AR stands for Augmented Reality. It is one of the immersive technology field which also include virtual reality and mixed reality. AR is all about enhancing the real world where people can see digital objects in the real environment. If I draw a spectrum between a point where everything is unreal, digital, and a point where everything seems to be real, AR will lie in between, where things seems to be real, but not quite much. On the extreme left, there will be VR, where things are digital. And on the extreme right side, there will be MR, where things are digital and real, but seems to be real only. We are using AR in retail, entertainment, gaming, education, healthcare, and many more fields in today's world. Two powerful tech leaders like Apple and Google are continually tweaking their mobile devices to handle the demands of AR specific software. And soon you will see AR going to enhance more and more technology. As the home computer came for personal use in 1975, we start integrating it with different technology like internet or making different software like for graphic designing or animation. And now it's a need to everyone in today's world. Similarly, a good AR XR tech will integrate with more and more technology like AI, cloud computing, or quantum computer, etc. in the future, and it will work the same as computer work for other technology as a carrier to AI, as a connector to cloud computers, as a connector to quantum computers, and whatnot. And it will create a new world for us. So now I've said enough and don't want you to wait further for introducing Dikshita and Bob and our speaker Bob Rafton Afwata. So please Dikshita.
Hi everyone, this is Deekshita Verma. I am a sophomore at IGDTUW and a Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador. During this quarantine, I've really been into AR stuff, and over to you, Bob.
Hello, everyone. My name is Bob Afwata from Nairobi, Kenya. I am a co-founder of a startup called Focus Lens Electronics. Basically, we are making we do game development and also we build games and devices that can help people to enjoy a massive experience. Over the quarantine period from around March when the COVID situation began, I've been involved with building a game. Actually, it's actually a solution for wildlife to help improve the a number of tourist interaction. The game is still under development. The UI, if you follow me on LinkedIn, you'll be able to see the UI and UX, which is in progress. And so I just want to take you through, it's a good thing that you've joined this conversation. I just want to take you through about my journey, how I started, and so I share with you what are some of the opportunities that you can take advantage of from a software perspective to design, if you are a graphics designer or if you are a content creator, to even hardware, if you have some electrical engineering background and you are stuck, you can be able to, some of the opportunities that you can take. And then I'll finish up by pointing you to the right material and courses online which you can take, and the communities that you can take that will help you improve your career. So first of all, I started way back in 2013, 2012, when I was a student. And I was a student ambassador with Intel. And during that time, we got access to some of the Intel's technologies. One very popular one is called Intel RealSense. And also in 2013, we used to run workshops on how to get started with the Intel RealSense. There are various augmented reality cameras. Also, during that time, Intel was promoting a brand, was promoting a technology called Intel XDK. Intel XDK basically was a software that would help you build mobile applications optimized for Intel architectures using it's a JavaScript engine that also included some technologies such as HTML5, using HTML5, CSS, and also other plugins which the community developed. So after that, then I got involved, something which I'm very proud of, apart from the training and the workshops we ran, is the Ultimate Coder Challenge. If you Google that, you'll come and see the Ultimate Coder Challenge, where our team from Kenya was among the 8 teams globally that participated. And we built a prototype for what we call Chekidinga, which helps the users, or which help people to view cars or to shop for cars, look for the cars that are there in the market before they can be able to actually buy it. You can also customize the car. You can customize the seats, the color, whether you want leather, whether you want it to be made of some some other color apart from black or red. You could do all that kind of thing, and you could view it in 3D using your VR headset. I am in possession of a very cool Microsoft VR headset, which is made by HP, which supports what is called the Windows Mixed Reality platform. So some of the opportunities which I see, or before I go to that, when we're talking about XR, what do we actually mean? And what are some of the technologies which are out there? So XR is just it's a complete set. X there stands, you can replace A, which means augmented reality, V, which is virtual reality, or M, which is mixed reality. So augmented reality is whereby you have a camera stream. If you have an application, something like Instagram or your camera app with the filters, Snapchat filters, you are having a camera stream. Basically, you are just in your application, it's just launching the camera. And then on top of the camera, you are augmenting, or you are adding an object, a 2D or a 3D object on top of that camera stream. And that gives, it brings in the idea of the virtual, which is the device, which is the object you have added, or the name, or the writings, or the letters onto your actual stream. But when we are talking about the next level, which is virtual reality uses, it takes advantage of a headset. This is the things like Oculus or Sony Vive, all the headsets that you put on your head. And then after putting them on your head, you'll be able to view, you'll be submerged into a virtual world. Somebody will be able to design a virtual world. For example, obviously somebody like me, I've never been to India, but if I use that VR headset, then somebody can scan an environment of a place, like a room or a park in India. And then when I wear the headset, I'll be able to zoom, I'll be able to see around the area, see the location where I am in India in a virtual world, and give me that impression that I'm there. Mixed reality on the extreme is now the most advanced one. The best mixed reality headset right now is the HoloLens, which is made by Microsoft. HoloLens enables you to mix, to have an experience of both augmented reality and virtual reality. It also helps you to be able to go to the actual place. It is a headset. If you place your head, you can have the virtual world, and then you augment it, you place together with the actual world. So there is an interaction, and you can be able to move things around, move icons, move physical objects, as you also still see your physical environment, which is like your room or where you are. So it's a hybrid of the two technologies. So the last thing or the second last thing I want to talk to you about is about the various journey that you can take. The opportunities that are there is if you don't necessarily need to be a coder or a developer, somebody writing code for you to be able to take advantage of VR, because VR is one of the space that is so wide and it requires so much talent. You can be able to start by being a graphic designer, or be able to create assets or create 3D objects for game developers. So you can be able, through the communities like MR, VR community, you can be able to get developers, experienced developers, or people who are starting out, and help them design the game assets, the icon, the sound, the music, which they are using for their VR games and the experiences. You can also help them do the UI mock. So all this you can do as a content creator. The next is also content creation in terms of video and also sound and audio. You can be able to use some of the free software that are there, or even paid ones, to create sound effects and all that you can be able to use with a game developer or a VR AR developer, for them to take advantage of that in their application. Then also, as students, there are also some areas which are of great importance to you. One, you can also be involved in research and development of the actual VR or AR products. For example, I know most of you have seen the VR headsets that are there from Oculus, whichever, from HP. And also you've seen some mockups. There are a lot of other people who are, even if you go to YouTube, you'll see people are showcasing mockups of what Apple is reportedly said to be working on, the futuristic technologies that other companies are working on. There are also other companies like Fitbit that are also doing some things on wearables or trackers. So you can take the advantage of this with your skills on maybe sketching. If you are a sketch artist, you like sketching new ideas, you can sketch these solutions and then work with product designers, or do it, even go to the area of product design, whereby you bring these new ideas to, you design it, you look, if you are even a mechanical engineer or even an electrical engineer, work with even other teams to design this kind of futuristic products, 3D print them, use things like plastic, mold them, and bring these solutions, because these are what are going to be used in the next. Just improve on the experience. If you've already worked with something like HoloLens, or even if you looked at the history of HoloLens, definitely what they are having right now is not what they had 2-3 years ago. They have improved on it greatly. And if you can add even a small feature, or you can, to make it more comfortable, make it lighter, make it work faster, even if you have some background in electrical engineering and you want to do a research on the battery, because you want to ensure that this AR, VR headsets, even the phones, they take much longer time when somebody wears them. If you want to do research on even the battery technology that goes in there, you can go ahead and do that. So those are some of the opportunities that you can take advantage of. You don't necessarily need to be an expert in programming or coding, or because you can also get other ways and contribute, and also at that same time you are learning. Then to help improve your skills, definitely I encourage you to go on these social media platforms and look for the various brands that are out there. You follow them, be it Oculus from Microsoft, be it HP, and then you'll see the kind of technologies that they are having. HoloLens developers have a Slack channel which is open. You can just Google HoloLens developers Slack channel, then you can join, then you'll be able to meet experts from the HoloLens community. Then, like I've been there, the Microsoft global developer community lead for HoloLens is there, and some experts who have actually even published books on HoloLens, using HoloLens and virtual reality in itself. So they are in that platform. Also, try as much as possible to learn a language like C#. If you are a developer and you've tried to work with you've tried to install Unity, you've tried to install Android, or you already have something like Android Studio and you are building simple applications, you can go to these platforms. You can go to these platforms and get you after learning C#, you can be able to take good advantage of these platforms like Slack and Twitter, so that you can be able to see what other people are working on. Then also, if you are able to afford, you should be able to buy at least one of these technologies. If you can be able to afford not a HoloLens. HoloLens could be expensive, but this mixed reality toolkit headsets, you can be able to have them. Having your own, or these 3D cameras, having your own helps you to play around with them, try a solution, look through some of the examples people are doing on YouTube. YouTube is a great resource, actually. You can follow some of the channels that people are discussing VR, AR, and through those channels, you can be able to try, just follow what the presenter is doing, or what that guy is doing to the exact. Just install the tools the way he's doing. Follow one of the examples, like if he's building a fast shooter game, if he's building an AR for displaying cards or something, just follow it. And even sometimes they're generous, they even share the code on GitHub. So you can go to GitHub and look at the code, how he's doing it, try running it on your PC, add some few features, and share it out there with the community. So that will help you improve over time. Learn C# as I've said, and also learn the Microsoft technologies, especially on universal Windows applications, how to develop universal Windows applications, because no matter what happens, they can introduce so many things, or these other communities. There are a lot of developer SDKs, or so many plugins that people are developing there. But you have to know that at the by the end of it, we are having main platforms that are out here. One, which is great one, is Microsoft, and with their HoloLens and their Microsoft mixed reality toolkits, which is supporting a range of headsets from HP, from Lenovo, and all that. The basic line technology is they're using something like C# with Unity, and their mixed reality toolkit, which you can download online. So once you understand the process of developing an application, desktop applications, or mobile applications using Google tools like Android Studio, then you are on the right track, because if you need to develop an app with something like Vuforia or some other SDK or some other software tools from other brands, you just download them, install them on your Unity or your Visual Studio or your Android Studio, and then you, with your knowledge on C#, you can be able to develop the applications very easily. Then the last thing is on the resources that you can take advantage of. One great resource is YouTube. YouTube has a lot of content creators, people who are creating videos on virtual reality, augmented reality, and also targeting mobile platforms. You can go to YouTube and, as I told you, dedicate your time to following what they are doing. That will give you confidence in installing the softwares, configuring the software properly, installing, maybe if you cannot afford something like HoloLens, there is an emulator software which you can use to run your application as if you are actually running it on actual hardware. So you can it will give you confidence on how to install these softwares, and then with that confidence, you can now also run the examples that those people are using, follow along with them how they are writing the code, and then test them out and share it out there with the communities. Then there are sites like Udemy that have courses. Some of them are they are very cheap, or they're relatively cheap compared to if you are to pay in a college or in an institution. So some of them are like $20, $10, and they are self-paced, which means you can they have divided into maybe 12 sections, and you can do a section a day or after half an hour, and then you take a rest, and you will be having good progress. And then some of them have even certificates, which you can share on your social media, on your LinkedIn, or on Facebook, that recruiters can be able to point out that you have some experience with the virtual reality or augmented reality. Yeah, so thank you very much for listening. I'll be able to now take a question or questions from you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Bob. That was really knowledgeable. And I want to tell you all guys that Bob is in also in a hardware field. So you can ask question if you have about hardware or something. And he's an expert trainer in VR, AR and MR technology. So he's been training the Nairobi community of VR, AR and MR community, and he's a great person. So you can ask in chats, and we will answer in the last minutes when we will go for live question and answering. So now I think we should start with the questions. And so I would like to ask you first, what is the first image that comes in your mind when you hear AR?
So AR in short is augmented reality. So this is a technology that it has been there for some time while now, but one of the main applications where we saw it is something called the game called Pokemon Go. Then there's also Instagram filters, and also there is the Apple Memoji that came about, I think, 2 years ago. So if you look at those solutions, what happens is AR requires the use of a phone or a tablet. For example, if you have your iPhone over there, when you launch the camera application, then it will display like the camera will be turned on, and then you can be able to like when you are moving it from left to right, you'll be able to see a camera stream. So from that camera stream, an AR application will take advantage, will embed a writing or an image or a photo on top of that video stream. So it is being used take a simple example of there are some apps in the Apple Store that helps you to measure the length of objects. For example, if you have a table, then the application will have a virtual tape measure. So it will have a ruler, a virtual ruler, which you are seeing on top or embedded on your camera stream. So you can use that to measure the length of a table, the length of a wall or something, or even the height of a building. So that technology where objects are augmented or added on top of a camera stream of a video or a video stream of a phone or a tablet, that is what is called augmented reality.
Thank you for the answer, Bob. And what would be that one career advice you would give to a college student or a graduate who's just started in the field of AR?
Yes. So the advice that I can give a college student is that this is a new technology. It has hardly been here for maybe less than 5 years. Serious companies are looking to hire or recruit, and also even absorb startups or ideas that are in the AR VR field. So one you should be able to improve your skills if you are interested in mobile application programming and you're already building mobile applications. Take advantage of this and use it to build your career over a while. Go through boot camps. There are boot camps that are there online or boot camps that are organized like with AR, VR community globally or even in India. Take advantage of those boot camps, attend them, and actually make sure that you are hands-on. You are hands-on with the programming. You are hands-on with even things like tools, knowing the various tools that are there, like Unity, Visual Studio Code, Android Studio, if you are targeting Android applications. Then also, as I've said, don't only limit your mind to mobile application development or VR, AR application development. You can also diversify, because if you go to places like even Apple or Microsoft, you'll also find they have content creators. They have people who are helping them make videos, make sound for their mobile applications. If that is your interest, follow it, but also make sure that you are working as a learn the aspect of teamwork, work with other people to make sure that the content you are developing is in a game or is in a VR application.
Okay, that's great, Bob. So our next question is, what are some upcoming opportunities you are seeing in hardware and software in AR, field of AR?
Yes, so there are some interesting projects that are out there. One of them is called TinyML. TinyML is machine learning. It's a machine learning library that is optimized to run on microcontrollers or microprocessors that require very low memory footprint. One of the challenges that VR applications, for example, is facing is they really need to perform some kind of machine learning or intelligence on the glasses, and there is a concept called AI or IoT on the edge, whereby you need to perform inference, you need to detect objects, you need to do voice recognition on the device, not on the cloud. Right now, this VR headsets or AR phones, tablets like the iPhones, they are doing it. Some of them are doing it on the cloud, and after doing it on the cloud is when data is being downloaded. So there's a lot of research going on how to improve the performance of mobile processors or chips that are in phones. So you can look at that research, and one best way to look at it is Tensorflow Lite. It's a library by Google that can run on microcontrollers or on low memory devices. You can also look for TinyML. So that field is actually very interesting for computer science, for electrical engineering, because you can buy some of these microcontroller boards. You can buy things like Arduino, Raspberry Pi, and then learn computer vision, things like OpenCV, install it on those, and then play around with how to detect images and things like that, because these are the same concepts that are going to be used in VR or AR headsets.
That was great. So if you get a wish to advance any part, feature of AR tech or invent it in a second, what would it be and why?
First of all, I think that the software ecosystem is very much fragmented, meaning every company or every brand out there is pushing their own technology. So it becomes very hard, and they are moving very fast. So if you look at, for example, what Sony is doing, or what Mozilla is doing with the virtual reality or augmented reality, they are completely different. If you look at what Microsoft is doing or their technology stack, the software is completely different. So it becomes very difficult for someone to jump in and get started. Then also the user experience. I'm really, over the few months, I've been really interested in product design. I really want to help improve how things look and feel. So I would do more. If I had the capability and the technology, I would improve on the battery life of these phones and devices, and improve on their size. Because if you improve on their size, you make them smaller, then more people will be able to use them, and more people will be able to adopt it easily.
That was really something we all wanted by now. I think you are really the tiny ML things and what you talked about the batteries. I think that are some essential part that we all should know, and that are some advanced part that thank you for letting us know about them. And so my next question is, what are some other career in Exar that people can opt for other than being a Exar application developer? Like you have told about some graphic designing and what more
Yes.
people can do.
Yes, I had gone through them, but I'll repeat some of them again. Remember, as I said, this is a new technology, and a lot of people are still doing research, and the technology is still being improved on. So you can play your part by doing not only the application development, but also get involved from the software perspective or to the hardware perspective. So if I start with software perspective, you can be able to use things like Photoshop or all these graphic design softwares out there to design assets and materials, sound clips that can be used by other developers or by VR and AR game developers in their applications. You can do UI mockups, how the UI is going to look like, the interaction, how the player is going to interact with the game. You flesh it out, you write it, you draw it out on a board for that the developers can be able to follow. Then too, also on software part, you can also be involved in video editing, because some of these AR, VR games, they also take advantage of pre-recorded videos. So you can learn how to use things like the GoPro cameras and record 360 videos that you can export to the required format and be used in the VR or AR applications. On the hardware side, I've told you you can do something called product design. Product design is whereby you look at, even if you start Googling all the VR headsets that are there, you'll see very crazy models, things like Google Cardboard and how Google has iterated through by having their Daydream headset, or even look at Microsoft, how they started with HoloLens and all the technologies that they have added. So you can look at that and then come up with your own unique product. Also, you can look at what the news is saying about what Apple is expected to release on about their AR headset. Look at even how Google, I can't say failed, but how they stopped their production of the Google Glass, and see what their news or their rumors of how they are trying to revamp that product or reintroduce it into the market by changing the design. So from that, you can be able to learn and build your own mock-up for your own AR headset, for your own VR, for your own VR headset, and also see what can be improved on the AR aspect in terms of the fonts and how they're supposed to look and how they're supposed to be used. Then also, if you are deeply electrical engineering or deeply like you want to do something on hardware, or you have some background with electrical engineering, or you are just excited about electrical engineering, you can look at something like the battery technologies that are found inside those AR, VR headsets. The battery technologies, the cameras is actually a big thing right now. because if you look at even the Samsung phones right now, the Apple, the iPhones, they are having like 3 cameras. Find out what does each camera actually do. What do we mean by the depth sensors? What do we mean by the infrared? Or what kind of technology goes in there? And what can you do? Can you help improve the quality of those cameras? Can you help even write a specification on how the next future cameras should look like? Then the last thing, this is for like now even more advanced, is if you are interested in even processors, if you can be able to look at what kind of processors are out there. You can even give an advice, a company where maybe you get a job in your company or at a company and they want to build something using AR technology. You can advise them on which phones or which tablets have the best AR capabilities. So this can only be done if you have some kind of background knowledge. So do more research, keep on reading about the news on YouTube and all this for what the industry is going to.
It's really interesting to know how vast this industry is, and if there's an AI developer, how should that person practice?
Yes, so you need to practice by, first of all, learn the basic technologies that AR VR is using. One is that you have to know is that they are developed as games or as mobile or as desktop applications. So if you want to focus on mobile VR or AR applications, then you have to know that the 2 main popular platforms is Android and iOS. If you want to practice or you want to finally build a solution for iOS, you have to learn Objective-C or Swift with Xcode. So that means you have to invest and get even a MacBook and an iPhone for your development and test. Then also take some of the Udemy courses. There are Udemy courses that talks about how to develop iOS applications or using Swift or Objective-C. You can also look for Medium. Medium is an online platform where people are blogging or writing like how to do something within. It's like a 12 minutes read. So they usually even share a screenshot of how to install the software, on how to get started with developing AR, VR games. So look for medium.com, and you will find a lot of applications, and try out those applications. Follow what the instructors they are showing you, and then you'll be able to develop applications. Then to help you improve, learn the core technologies, learn the tools like Visual Studio, Android Studio if you're developing for Android, and also learn Unity if you want to develop desktop applications, mobile applications. Learn Unity, how to configure Unity, what does the various file, even a Hello World, a very basic AR application that is targeted, how to configure the build settings for Android, for desktop, for Xbox, if you can have an Xbox controller or an Xbox controller. Learn by doing actual practice. Yeah, so thank you very much.
That is really, really interesting. Maybe I'm not the only one who didn't knew all that information. And thank you, Bob. That was really amazing. And so we can start a live Q&A. We have some questions here. And would you like to tell where people can connect you to talk if you would like to share?
Pardon?
Would you like to share where people can connect you, like LinkedIn, Twitter, or something?
Yes, they can look for me on on LinkedIn. You can share my LinkedIn profile, the URL. About how somebody can help improve their skills is be part of this community like VR, AR, also other communities online. Attend boot camps if your time and you are really interested. Attend boot camps or any event that like Microsoft student partner program or the Microsoft Learn partners, whatever they are doing, attend and be able to learn what is new in the market and how to get started. So just share my LinkedIn and even my Twitter channel, and then they can send me a LinkedIn request and I'll accept them and we can always network with them.
That's great. That's great. In our live question and answer, we have anonymous people and also some people who shared their name. So my first question is, I'm a Flutter developer. Can I integrate it with AR?
Yes, right from there are already some libraries that helps you use Flutter for you to integrate it with that. So that is very much possible. But I want you to know that Flutter is also a fairly new technology. I think it was introduced by Google, I think 2 years ago. So it's fairly new, and maybe the work that you will do for you to build an application with Flutter may be a lot compared to using other already existing frameworks. So you can do it, basically you can do it, but the documentation or how people are doing it is almost limited. If you look at even the blogs, they could be very limited. So you can do it, but it may take you a lot of work.
I hope that answer would have helped. And you recommended YouTube channels to learn AR from. So any YouTuber in specific that you would suggest?
There is this YouTube channel called VR Monkeys. Yes, VR Monkeys. You can check it out. I have his video channels and videos, and I have been using them. He explains things very well. But then look at the Microsoft. I think if you want to get quality content, look for these major brands like Microsoft Build, Microsoft developer channels. You'll be able to see their developers, their engineers having a podcast or during the last build last year or even this year. You'll be able to find very quality content. Even Unity, yeah, Unity developer channel. If you just look for Unity, they have the greatest. So individual developers also can be good, but if you look for what these brands are offering, they're more quality and they're telling you how to use their own tools because they're the ones who are developing these tools.
Okay, thank you. And our next yes.
Please repeat the question.
Will the development will be different in AR, VR for Android and the Huawei OS, the new Huawei OS that China is bringing? I think.
Yes. So Huawei, the company, the US giant, they have moved to a new OS that they are making in-house, and they are hoping to ship a lot of their products. Especially India is a big market for them, for example. So they are trying to build it to be able to be compatible with applications. So don't be surprised if they will not be using Google technologies such as Android Studio, but they will probably use their own custom software or studio. But for AR, the basic technology that is used or that is unifying all of them is developing using web technologies, using HTML, CSS, or using Angular, all those kind of web-based technologies, using basically JavaScript engines. So it's not going to be different as such. The tools may be different, but if you have a strong foundation with the JavaScript and the various JavaScript platforms or frameworks, then you are good to go. I think that is the best way that Huawei is going to take with their new OS, because they want many developers that are already doing Android to be able to easily port their applications to their new OS. I saw also Intel did the same thing around 2013 when they came to the mobile market with their new Intel on Android phones. So they didn't go low level by using Java or by using C++ or by using C#, because that will lock a very specific set of developers. But they built their gaming or their mobile engine around JavaScript or CSS and HTML. And right now, since that has improved, the market has improved with the frameworks that are out there, then that is the same path that I'm very sure Huawei or any other new player coming into market will be able to use. So learn that, and then you can be able to move in very easily.
That's really great. So is it necessary to have a VR headset in order to start working on a VR product?
No, it's not necessary. You don't necessarily need one. There is what is called an emulator. An emulator, like Microsoft HoloLens has an emulator. It's a software which you install alongside, you install it on your computer. And once you, just like if you've done Android application before, you know of the Android emulator, even iOS, there is an emulator, and that emulator will help you run your application on a virtual platform, which is your computer. But there are some VR headsets, some very cheap VR headset that you use your phone. Actually, it's just a pod, it's just a casing, something like Google Cardboard, if you've seen it. There are also some cheap Chinese versions where you actually need your phone, which you place inside there, and then there is a lens. So those you can get for less than even $20 or $10 via Google, like the Google Cardboard you can get for like $100 or something like that. So you can get them there. It's not a fully fledged VR headset, but it uses your phone. So if you have an Android phone or you have an iOS phone, then that is what you are going to run your application on.
Okay, that's really informative. And so our next question is, can you tell about an approach to follow to develop the AR application? And is programming language mandatory in AR? And if, then which one? Which one is mostly used?
So the workflow or how to develop a mobile application, one of the, when you're looking at a solid platform that you are going to depend on, something which a lot of people are going to use Unity. Unity is a gaming engine which has been used for many years, and if you look at it, will look very carefully. If you look at it, has a UI that you have to write C#. You learn C# code. So the first thing that you need to install is make sure that you are having a Windows or Mac OS, there's a specific Windows build that is required. From, I think, from 2018, there is a revision that your computer has to be a build of Windows 10. So that you have to have as a requirement, and then you install Visual Studio. You don't need to have the commercial or the enterprise version. Just use the community edition, is good enough. Then after installing Visual Studio, you also need to install now Unity, and then you create your game or your applications just normal. You start with a new game, and then make sure that you add support for the platform which you want to build for. So if you are building for Android, then there is a support. If you are building for Android using Google Cardboard, there is a package that you need to download from their GitHub, or just look for Google Daydream or Google VR Unity package. You Google that, and then you download it and install it on top of your Unity. They are basically just scripts, C# scripts that helps you to initialize your VR headset controller, initialize your controllers, and help you center your view around the screen and all that. So once you install that, then you can now, that is now where the hard part starts, where you now have to read the documentation and start programming. But you can be able to do it without, you can be surprised, you can, if you are good with something like Blender, if you want to take time and do something like Blender, then you can export a file format which you drag into your Unity, and then with very minimal code, sometimes even without any kind of code, you can be able to get a VR solution which somebody can actually use. Yeah. So what will happen is on your Blender, Blender is the software which you are using to develop your 3D videos, your 3D objects and all that. There is what is called a transitioning. There is how you can be able to model your scene, in that if somebody clicks this page, or if somebody focuses the headset, focuses the vision on a certain object, be it a door. For example, if you are modeling a house, or you are modeling a scene, a shooting scene, then you can have that when somebody focuses the camera or focuses on a door, then the door automatically opens. The opening of the door can be modeled using Blender. So there is how Blender, if you go even on YouTube and see how Blender, somebody is doing something on Blender, it's like video editing, in that you can be able to let objects move, or things up, gates open, things like that. And that same asset, you drag it and bring it to Unity, and with very minimal code, sometimes even none, you can be able to develop your VR or AR application.
So, how can we make use of an AR application in an e-commerce website?
Yeah. So for an e-commerce website, remember that for an e-commerce, your user, the key thing that you need to do is to attract many people to buy something, get them to know what the product is, and get them to buy. So one of the ways that you can do is, one, you get to figure out how you can display the whatever products that people are buying. So, for example, if you are building a solution for dresses, for women's dresses and shoes and necklaces, you can build an AR solution that will, so that if somebody uses this, then he or she can test a cloth or something before actually purchasing. So it's augmented or it's added on top of their body so that they can be able to know whether this cloth or this is matching their necklaces and all that. You can also do something for, there is a solution I helped a certain lady when I was still learning to market, which used the skin complexion to sell makeup and lips. We were doing lipstick and the foundations and all that kind of thing. So the whole idea was we used the AR app, we identify your skin color, and then we choose within the variety of the makeup that we are having, which suits you better. So you can do that. Then on advanced level on e-commerce website is whereby somebody needs to actually pay for the dress or for the shoes. You can be able to integrate a payment system. I know even in India, even in Kenya, there are a lot of third-party APIs for payment, for making payment. You can try doing that, but it may have its own challenges. For example, how to add your credit card information. But what can happen is you can put it in such a way that these are pre-added during the installation of the app. So once you install the app, then this person will be able to pre-insert his or her mobile or credit card information. And then from there, the app will just be requesting for permission to use that credit card information to make purchases. So if you want to go that extent whereby you are even having the purchasing done, then you can do it. But I don't think it's usually recommended because somebody can use your credit card information in a wrong way and get your buy from your VR. So it's not recommended. I have seen Microsoft are having their login. You can be able to log in into like the HoloLens or even the mixed reality kits using the Microsoft account, like your Outlook account, or even your Gmail. So that's there, and it usually have some kind of two-level authentication where you have to send an SMS or even send an email which somebody can confirm. So, but the key thing that you have to know for an e-commerce is you have to get your users hooked to your mobile, to your e-commerce site, and get them try out the products that you are selling there, get them see the features, if it has to be rotated, if it has to even, if you can be able to even magnify it with their hands, they can rotate it, you can zoom in and out and see how the product is looking. Then also, how does it match with the already existing clothes or the already existing watches that they are having? So put your customer at the center. If they are sold to the idea that this solution is good for them, then they will be able to use it.
I think you are amazing, Bob. This was really, really informative session, and I think it's time to end up this session. But thank you very, very much for being here. And I learned a lot. Means I didn't even knew about the tiny ML or the TensorFlow Lite and many more things, the battery problems and the size and whatever you said. That was so amazing that I think people from who are in beginner or even in advanced can learn from this webinar, and that was really, really great. So I think I would like to have Dikshita to have the final words, and then we can end up this session. And thank you very much once again, Bob, for being here. That was an amazing.
Yeah, thank you, Bob, for taking your precious time out for us. And I would like to thank the audience for being so interactive and asking so many questions. We're sorry if we couldn't answer yours. There were plenty of questions, and this is not the end of AR/MR days. We have our 2 more sessions on 6th and 7th of September, same time, and the link is in the description, in the chat box, so you can go and register yourself for the event. And I would like to thank Microsoft team for giving us the opportunity to be holding such an event. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
That was great. Pezan?